Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. I hope you are all well, and welcome to my new subscribers. And I hope you stay. If you don't, that's okay. My channel isn't for everyone. You may like some of my videos and watch some of my other videos and be like, yeah, no, she's lost me, gone. Very common. People like me and Julia with our experiences, we're a little bit, how can I explain it? We're a little bit too far into the future for some people to wrap their heads around some of the things that we go through and talk about. But anyway, before I ramble on anymore, I'm just going to read Julia's little bio that she sent me, and then, yeah, we'll take it from there. So let me just get it up. Julia Ankerhaven, did I say your surname correctly? I did.
Yeah.
Woo! Is a world traveller, a Akashic Oracle weaver, pendulum alchemist, violet flame Reiki master teacher, sound practitioner, quantum crystal healer, and retreat facilitator. She identifies as a Milab and secret space program survivor, currently exploring and documenting fragmented memories linked to alleged involvement in covert classified projects. Her ongoing work focuses on memory recovering, integration, and drawing from experiences associated with multiple locations across the UK, USA, India, China, Russia, if I say this correctly, Diego Garcia?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Australia and beyond. These accounts include a wide range of roles and skill sets such as tactical operations, advanced technology retrieval, Stargate operations, espionage, genetic research, and diplomatic functions. And as I said that, I've got those chills again. I say it a lot. I call it confirmation chills. So not that I don't disbelieve you. It's just amazing when I get that because it's like,
So
yeah,
we need to look into your your envoy work.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. So I just want to say thank you as well for accepting my invitation because I do struggle. I guess a lot of people are like that, I suppose yourself, right? You reach out to people and it's either a yeah or no or a complete ghost. It's not always personal, although sometimes it can be. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that. But yeah, I'm just very appreciate you accepting my invitation, like I say, because, I do struggle for many reasons I just mentioned. So we're probably going to be bouncing around a little bit because
that's
Julia,
why it's fun.
yeah, that's why it's fun, absolutely, because we're both neurodivergent. So this will be quite funny and full of surprises, let's just say. So let's see if we can do it. I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking perhaps if you want to start with some of your memories or just well, whatever you feel comfortable with, and I'm sure we'll just go in an order and a natural flow anyway. But anyway, over to you, Julia.
We'll try. So I've been trying to document my experiences for the last 2 years and realizing I don't have that many memories. I really don't. I've got hardly any memories from childhood. And the ones that I had, I weren't sure if they were real or not. And I've discovered recently that one of them was real, but it had a screen memory in place and it was not where I thought it was. So I've been going through this period on my spiritual journey because I'm a holistic therapist, quantum healer. And the more healing I do, the deeper it's gone into random things coming into my mind. So a couple of years ago, one of the first memories that came forward was I was in a male body. I was a scientist and I'm in some kind of lab. I might have been Japanese or Asian. And I look over and there's this massive man laying on some kind of bed. And for a second, my consciousness flits into that other being and then back. I do that a couple of times and then I come out of the memory. And I was working with a quantum healer who said to me, that's Orion. That sounds like Orion. So then I'm thinking, well, why would I be in Orion? Why would I be linked to the Orion Syndicate? Right? Who now I know a bit of like the bad guys in the Empire kind of situation. So that was one of the first memories that came forward. And then I was working with somebody and we do, just healing sessions. The next minute I see that I'm on a spaceship. And I'm thinking, well, why would I be on a spaceship? That makes no sense. He's saying, you stole that spaceship and you crashed it and you killed everybody because they wouldn't listen to you, he said. And I'm thinking, That makes no sense to me. Why would that even happen, right? So then things like that kept popping in, random memories, completely out of place, but no context. So it wasn't until 2024, towards the end, that I started to focus more on Stargates, because I've always been drawn to Stargates, SG-1, the Stargate movie, that kind of thing really called to me. I've got Irish heritage, like you probably have, I don't know. And so I love working with the land, right? Okay. So that really called to me. So then I had a session with somebody, and she was saying, yeah, you've got that connection to a Stargate. And I was explaining a memory that I'd had of a situation where I was just laying back. I wasn't even in meditation. I just closed my eyes, and this looked like a Stargate appeared in my mind. It was golden. It had symbols that I didn't recognize. It wasn't like Stargate SG-1, but it had an Omega symbol in the middle, and it just flashed in my mind really clear. And I asked somebody about it, and they said, Omega, that's the end of the world. That's terrible. I'm not liking that. So when I spoke to this other person about Stargate, she said, oh, no, that's just Stargate reaching out for a technician. It needs repair. And you're the closest.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So I started to have weird experiences like that. And then I was trying to get into meditation, because for a long time it wasn't something I could do. Now I meditate for 2 to 3 hours a day. I can get myself into that relaxed state, a memory mine, I call it. But then a couple of years ago, it was really hard. So I'm just listening back, somebody's talking in a group, and then my mind flipped off. I was somewhere else. So my consciousness had split, and I was floating over like a street. This is going to sound really mad. So, and I'm floating down this street, and it must have been in America, because it said laundromat. And then there was a hairdresser's, right? And I'm floating down, and I see this being walking down the street. It looked like a person with big dreadlocks, big dreadlocks, and big glasses on. Right. And I kind of floated around, and I looked at them, and I said, you're not meant to be here. And it saw me, and I flicked back into my body. I'm lying there. I took a deep breath, and a ball of plasma ejected from my chest and went out through the roof of my house. Okay, that's the only time that's ever happened for me in that way. And then I didn't know what had happened. I messaged a mentor that I had, and he said, cool, entities in disguise. And I thought, what the hell is going on? Like, I've got some kind of beacon switched on, some kind of beacon, trying to find bad guys or something. It makes no sense. And then, then a while later, I was watching Umbrella Academy. And this Umbrella Academy, there's those 7 kids, 6 of them have got superpowers, and there's one that doesn't have any. And and Vanya, she's pushed to the back, made to think that she's nobody, she's nothing, but really she's the worst one. All her memories have been erased, all her emotions have been suppressed, because she's the worst one. And when you see her ability, it's the plasma ability. It's the plasma ability. So I'm watching this thing thinking, oh my god, this is me. This is me. This is number 7. That's literally me. It's literally based on my archetype. So I started to investigate into more things like that. And I had a session with somebody. And as they were talking, just memories are starting to kick in. Things are starting to, you get those chills through the body. You get that sick feeling of like, oh my God, this can't be real. This cannot be real. So by the end of it, I was starting to think, okay, he's talking about MI5, MI6. Maybe that makes sense. He's talking about NSA. He's talking about 3-letter agencies. Maybe that makes sense. Right. So then I was kind of searching then what makes sense. I didn't have a lot of memories. It was so hard. And but then I had a session with this lady, and I started to tell her about a clone experience I'd had, which is how we got talking recently. And I was in France maybe 10 years ago now, maybe 8. It's my son's 16. I was in France. So I was telling her about this clone that I saw, and how it reminded me of that TV show Orphan Black. So I was on holiday with my family. We were at Disneyland Paris, just waiting for the bus to take you to the hotels. It's like a little bus stand. My brother-in-law shouting, it's you, look over there, it's you. And there was a woman who looked exactly like me, but she had white hair. She was paler than me, and she had white hair, and she was just pushing a pram, a buggy, like a stroller. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, my whole body just went into like this flux. And I felt so sick in the pits of my stomach, because there was a time displacement, both in the same time space. So she had my DNA, and we were literally like not even 10 meters away from each other. So it was really weird. So then I was asking in a session, about Orphan Black, about this TV show that my sister had made me watch, and I struggled to watch this TV show because the whole way through the woman looks like me. It's all about cloning. Every hairstyle, every style I've had. I've even had dreadlocks when I was 17. So I'm watching this. So I asked the person I was working with about it, and she's saying, yeah, you're the Orphan Black, but there's a brother. There's a brother. Do you know this person? And when she said the name of the guy, I was just like, not this guy. Not this guy. Why do I keep getting pushed towards this person? And it turns out he is the male and I'm the female. And we're bonded in battle. We're bonded with DNA as well. So there's just so much weird stuff that I've discovered in the last year that I've had to try and start a documentation process, a verification, like I call it the debrief process. So whatever I'm getting,
I knew. I wondered. I thought it was too good to be true. How long it would take for something?
yeah, I'm on
Is
Do
it all
Not
right?
Disturb. Yeah,
It's
let me just
crazy.
double check 1 sec. Okay, I have no idea how that call got through. I am on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, is that what happened? Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
A
God.
call just came through on Do Not Disturb, and that's not meant to happen at all.
Yeah. No,
so,
it shouldn't.
I'm talking about my dyad as well.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen. Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, just interject. So, yeah, we often find that they base movies and characters off it, right?
Yeah.
So, would you say The Orphan Black was based solely off you, or just like, people like us? Does it feel
Yeah,
like?
it actually feels like it's based on me and Drago Reed's archetype. So we know from doing investigation in the last year that we were in a Kruger cloning program, and they've based that TV show off the Kruger cloning program, basically.
Yeah,
that we're part of.
sense.
So we've discovered that we are these echo templates. So we're clone templates. We've got a lot of clones. So they've taken that idea from that program and based it on that. The fact that it looks like both of us in a way is a bit freaky.
But it's and just quickly, sorry, I watched Orphan Black years ago. I completely forgot about it because I watched one of your videos actually where you were talking about that on your channel, and we can at the end, if anyone wants to check Julia's channel out, everything will be in the description. And now I've lost my train of thought. That's not great. But so anyway, so I revisited it, and I see what you mean. And I'm not saying it to boast your ego. Like I can see the resemblance. I should imagine it was you probably look a closer match when you were younger.
Yeah.
Because obviously the character is, I'd say she's what, in her 20s?
Yeah, I'm 50 now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But I could see it. Yeah, I could see in the eyes and stuff. So yeah. Interesting.
But even in that show, they talk about the Dyad Institute. And so I'm partnered with another super soldier, and we call that a dyad pairing. Yeah, so they've used a lot of wording, a lot of disclosure words in that TV show that match in with the programs that we do. Yeah,
they always do, don't they? They always do.
So there's quite a few different TV shows or comic characters or whatever that they base on our archetypes. Have you discovered anything that could be you?
Yeah, well, like you, I'm in many programs. So one of them is it's Special Ops Lioness, the military theme, espionage, undercover. And strongly the girl with the girl in the spider's web and the girl with the dragon tattoo, the strongest. Because with me, just pure anger, taking out the elites that have done harm. That have got agenda. That is me and my memories as well. And I've got
I struggled with rage for a long time. It's only the last couple of years I've been able to calm that. And somebody called it cosmic rage. Cosmic rage, that's what we embody, is cosmic rage from like the Orion Wars. Yeah.
Oh yes.
But there's also a berserker program. There's like a berserker mode that they input within you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many programs. So yeah, like I say, I have so many memories of being like military, US military, espionage, solo missions, black op missions, tactical missions. A bit like yourself,
Yeah,
really. We're placed in these many because we have many
yeah,
clones, right?
yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, enough of
Do
me.
you remember? Do you remember like a deep underground military base done in Manchester?
I remember military bases in my experiences, but I couldn't tell you where
Yeah,
they are. I mean, I have a military base, and I only found this out last year. Right, this is insane. I mean, England's pretty small. We have military bases all over, I guess, but
yeah,
I realised that last year there was actually a military training base, literally 10 minutes away from me in the car. And interesting as well,
yeah,
in brackets on the main entrance it says the word dragon. Well, I do have Orion connections, but when I was young, all of a sudden, I believe it was one of my altars, all of a sudden I was obsessed with drawing and sketching dragons, and I was drawing these like Japanese writing, or also a bit of light language, just like that, painting murals on the wall, like completely
yeah,
lost myself. My mum comes home from work and I'm like, I realise what I've done, and I'm like, oh crap, my mum's going to kill me.
yeah,
Obsessed with dragons again. I'm like, is that the Orion coming through? Is that my altar? Is it the memory of seeing the dragons? Because I have
yeah,
memories of a kid being picked up in the night in my PJs with other kids, a little bit docile, picked up by military in the night and taken. So I'm assuming, I don't know 100%, I'm just trying to connect dots and make sense, that I was taken to that military base.
mm,
So, and I've countless memories of being in bases, different ones, but I couldn't tell you. I could only
yeah.
assume,
Because there's
really.
also I don't know if you have any off-world memories, but the Japanese breakaway. There's a lot of dragon symbology with that as well, and plus we're
Yeah.
dragon. A lot of us are dragon souls, original dragon souls coming in. But the Japanese programs, the Yuzuru no Kunshu, the YNK, that's like a
Mm,
major program. Yeah, off planet. There's training on planet as well. We get taken to Japan and to islands around Japan. So there could
yeah.
be that you were, because what I'm digging into with my stuff at the moment was that I was basically just transferred around on planet. I was transferred around a lot. So I started traveling. So I was in the UK until I was about 20, 22. I'm not too sure now. I get really fuzzy on things. But then I thought, hey, I'm going to start traveling. So, so I went on a holiday to Tenerife with some friends, the very first flight ever. And then I had this experience at a dolphin show where emotions activated. Emotions. I never had emotions. And I'm sitting there
Mm,
crying, watching this dolphin. My friends are like, whoa, you don't get emotions. And I think I must have telepathed with the dolphin, which is a bit weird. So I'm just getting into that. So after that, I realized I need to sell off everything I own, thinking this is my decision. I'm going to start traveling. I realized now it was not my decision to start traveling. I got transferred to Australia SSP. So I got
mm,
transferred to another country and all around, and I ended up living in India for 10 years. So what I'm looking into now is how there really is a cross faction rotation between the programs, but there's actually a bigger program on across the planet. There's an on-planet program. I don't know if you've looked into it too much, but it's like the Commonwealth countries all work together and they all transfer assets through the
yeah.
Commonwealth system or the G12 or whatever. But I'm looking into the Commonwealth because it's much bigger. So we were all just traded around a lot. So I don't know if you have much memory of being traded.
It makes sense. Yeah, it just makes absolute sense with my experiences. I don't have memories of being traded. Again, it's just I have many different memories where I'm in different places, different countries, on world, off world. I do have connections to, according to my Akashic record reading, that I do have connections. I've got altars or I've had past lives, being an Asian woman. I've got one of my altars as well on Mars is
Yeah, Mars is where I place
Japanese.
you.
Or yeah,
When I think of you, I think of Mars.
when you think of me,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. It was like the red light district. I was undercover as one of my altars, and it was kind of like I don't know what you call them, but there was a gang there, like some kind of group involved in like nefarious things, you know, drugs, trafficking and things like that. So I was undercover, being one of the ladies of the night, if you like, and kind of collecting information, intel and stuff like that. So yeah.
So were you Japanese then? Does it look like
Yeah,
you were Asian?
yeah, Asian. Yeah, either Japanese or Chinese.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a lot of alters.
Yeah, we
Yes.
really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's
I'm only just
insane.
starting to connect into some of mine and integrate. So part of my debrief process is it helpful or is it harmful to integrate this alter? When you start to identify it, you don't actually need to integrate it. You only need to integrate it if it's got useful memories or it's got useful skills. So because I started to integrate everything because somebody said, of course, it's you, it's your soul, integrate it. And then I started to realize it's got trauma. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to add more trauma onto what I've got? I'm just another being. So I connected into my oversoul energy and said, like, past the higher self and said, you need to take this back. You need to take it back and heal it. So I've been kind of connecting in. Yes, I might identify another part of me, but then I have to go through that process of like communicating if I can, or sensing its energy. Is it something that's helpful for me to know? Right, and if it's not, then it goes straight back to the oversoul of my intention. Yeah, so that's a big thing I've been working on this year. So on my website, I did have a debrief page on my website, but I'm transferring my website over just onto Patreon at the moment, so I'll be putting everything back on there soon. But I had a page on my website which literally had like steps that I've been learning for the last year, because this is all new for me. I don't know when you first got your memories back, but I've only just started to make sense in the last 18 months.
In regards to my alters, I'd say that's fairly new, probably in the last year, a little longer, which makes sense when I look back at my life, which I won't get into. But in
did you
regards to
find
like,
it comforting to know that it wasn't just you being a screw up? Because I did.
well, put it this way, my life made sense because I kind of sense. I remember when I was younger, there would be shifts within me, right? Quick shifts, and I would, for instance, okay, my brother comes charging up to me. I'm sat on a deck chair, and all of a sudden, it's like this frigging assassin altar comes through, and all of a sudden, you know, I trip him up, and then I'm grabbing him, and I'm literally throwing him over my shoulder. And then as soon as he's on his back, not only is he staring at me in shock, I'm also staring at him and thinking, excuse my French, what the fuck? What?
Yeah.
What? That's not me. What did I do that for? Like it. So
Yeah.
there've been instances where, you know, they've come in, they've quite literally saved my back, which I explained in another on a video on my channel. It's a long story, but anyway, she came through. I was at the time when I was drinking. I don't drink now, but you know, way back when I used to go clubbing, as some of us do. But I was absolutely wasted in the back of a taxi, and let's just say this taxi driver had negative agendas. He locked the doors, pulled up, and so on. And I remember looking in the mirror and him staring at me, and I knew, in fact, something had come over him, like something dark, almost demonic, perhaps even reptilian. Again, at the time, that's all I felt. You know, I didn't quite know what it really meant, but I just felt that shift within him. And then again, it was that shift. Something came in or came through. And let's just say, you know, I don't know if I was kind of pushed back a little bit or we were co-fronting, because I was aware of the whole thing. But at the same time, it was like my body was on autopilot from my perspective. But she was kind of taking over my body at the same time, and she just really, like, it was a complete shift in personality, let's just say. And I felt her energy, her presence was very strong. She was very sober, not like me. So she was like more of the militant, that's the right word. She was more like the I don't know what I used to call her, but like you know, the protector, if you like. Very militarized, very, you don't, you know, so she kind of protect. So I had instances like that again as a kid. I always felt like I wasn't alone. I felt my thoughts were never alone. I felt like I had identity issues. I didn't know who I was from one moment to the next. And because of that, my life's been a mess. I could go on and on, as you can relate.
Yeah.
So I always felt that much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm shouting. I tend to
No, no,
shout.
it's fine, it's fine.
I'm
I do the same.
talking.
I project because I'm on my phone. So I did memory come back recently of when I was in school, and I don't know if I was about 14, and we were in PE class, but they put like all the gym bars up to make some kind of assault course. And I remember just standing in line thinking, I don't know if I can do this. And then when it was my turn, something clicked. And I parkoured the whole thing. Like people were just like, "Whoa!" And I don't know how I maneuvered it. I have no idea. And I kind of
Yeah.
came out at the end like, what,
Yeah.
did I just do that? Like, I had no idea. I just remember myself leaping and bouncing, and it was just insane. So I kind of realized now, oh, okay, that's definitely an alter out moment. Yeah, an
Yeah.
alter that's trained in that kind of movement came forward, because that's pretty standard for us as well,
Mm.
learning that kind of stuff in the programs. That's not something I can do. I can just about do Tai Chi, right?
I
I
can't
can't
even
do things
do
like
that.
that. I can just about do 10 form and keep it going. One of my sisters is a Tai Chi teacher. She
But
can do stick, fan, sword, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I can't. Yeah.
that's incredible. Like, I don't know if it's me or part of my alters, but at the minute, I say it's been on and off again, makes sense whenever different alters are coming through, because I've some of my alters have been kind of, they've come through for years and then they shift again, and there's that memory gap as well. But at the minute, and it's been for a while, I'm obsessed and drawn to go into like a shooting range. I've got one near me. I want to get a gun license,
I just bought an air rifle. Literally, like last weekend, I bought an air rifle, and I've got 2 hand air guns.
yeah,
But I've not
that's
been to go. I've not
insane.
been to a shooting range yet. I
Yeah,
can't wait. I can't wait.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
did
I've
you
waited a
feel as
year to get
well?
there. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll cut you off.
No,
Did you
no.
feel as well that you remember, like, even though you haven't touched a gun, we alters have, like, for instance, I use me as an
I've
example.
not
I
unboxed
knew
it
at the
yet.
moment I saw that gun, I feel confident, I know what I'm doing, and
Yeah, I've not unboxed it yet. I'm kind of waiting for a moment when my son goes back to school, basically,
yeah,
because it's Easter
wow,
holidays right now. But yeah, honestly, yeah, like, because we're in England, people don't realise there's a lot of my group are in America, but we can't have guns. Okay, so air rifle is about as good as it gets, you know.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm really keen on that. Again, is it part of my, it must be one of my alters,
yeah,
very strongly, like I want to do that. Not because I need it, well, you don't know how things are going to turn out in this country at the minute, but let's hope we never need it, right?
yeah,
But yeah, so, and again with jobs, I wanted to join the army, and then I wanted to be a police officer. So I was always in the like civil service or service
okay,
type job areas. But because I was always switching, they say, oh, it's because of ADHD, right? We can't make up our mind, we procrastinate, there's that as well, or at least that's what they say. But I've noticed a lot of Milabs, a lot of volunteer souls, if you want to call yourself an envoy, a star seed, what do we all have in common? Or majority of us, whether
yeah,
diagnosed or undiagnosed, is ADHD, autism. So again, I'm
yeah,
making connections. I know Dolores Cannon mentioned this a while ago, but to be an actual, to know who you are and why you're here and actually have ADHD and
yeah.
experience that, it's another level, it's another thing.
But it's
So
a superpower. It's a superpower because we go into that fight or flight mode, whereas other people might not. So we will go into fight mode, and we will scan everything in the room when we step in automatically and things like that. Other people just don't have that level of awareness
yeah,
that we have.
and
Yeah.
also as well, like, we're so calm under pressure and stress and chaos. So I find I get so irritable and angry over the most stupidest things, right? Silly little things, misplaced things. I stump my toe, I overreact. But then
Yeah.
when there's something drastic, it could be in the world or in my personal life, I'm very calm. And people have said to me, like, they're stressing, like hyperventilating. I've had to go doctors. I'm on, this is one of my friends, bless her. She's on so many tablets. She says, I don't
Yeah.
understand why you're so calm. People could easily look at us and
I
think, well, I
do.
don't know, psychopaths or something. I'm like, no, it's
No,
just, maybe it's part of the
you're
training as
alpha.
well.
You've got alpha programming, whereas I'm more beta programming. Yeah. So yeah.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
so the beta supports the alpha. The alpha's boots on the ground, but the beta anchors the alpha, because I've got a commander. So my dyad is trained as more the commander, whereas I come as support, tactical, and sight. And so we have a link up through the heads up display and stuff, whereas you are a commander role. Yeah. So I feel that chain of command with you. I do. Yeah. It's weird how I can still feel the chain of command, and certain people I can feel it quite strongly with certain people and definitely not with others. Right? Because I've got alters who are science based and run their own labs, right? So there's certain people who say that they're like a super scientist or whatever, and somebody even wrote a book recently, and I just went, no. No, yeah, in the science lab, perhaps supporting administrator or something. But because I remember being in that Waffen, I remember being in my own lab and having a team. I can see it. So I've got command in that area, but not in the tactical area. I'm more of a beta soldier. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I'm very I think me, as in me, so because sometimes I'm like, am I the original? Right, who's the original? Like, we're all the original, all the alters there is, right? But who's the original? Every time they come through, I say every time, it's not a lot. There's moments where they do, we all feel like the original, right?
Yeah.
And so, but in me now, I do have that very, like, I'm very, I'm very bubbly, I'm very friendly, and and things like that. But I still have that assertiveness. I try not to be intimidated. I don't think it's me in the way I act and can't necessarily carry myself. I think it's more my energy.
We can be intense. That's all. Not everybody likes the intense hyper focus that we have at times.
Absolutely.
Not everybody gets it. But with the original thing, that's quite interesting. I've been looking into that this year, because even though I know that for the clones and stuff, I know that I can manage the clones. I know that I can see, because I get a map that opens where the clones are on the planet, but I'm still not the original. The original would never live just 100 years. The original is on Mars, where they could live 200 or 500 years or whatever. So the original soul is actually held off planet. That's kind of where I'm at with my thinking right now. And it'll probably change as I explore it. I still have like a managing role on planet, which I know is kind of keeping me alive, I think, right? That I can track and trace or whatever. So I'm not too sure about that. I'm still working on a lot of things. My perspective changes as I learn more and grow. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. That's fine. We're just trying to figure it out, aren't we? And we get new information, we get new visions, memories, and sometimes we're like, oh, well, okay, well, that, what I believe that, so let's say last week, last year, it's kind of gone out the window type thing, and we're just trying to figure it out, aren't we?
It's also when you meet people that have got a memory of you, that's quite hard as well. Because I have, I've got a Supersoldier dyad, so we've been battle bonded, and he remembers me. He's got an entire lifetime of me that's fallen into place, but he won't share those memories much because I don't have them all yet.
Right. Okay.
Some of them are not helpful. Some of them are actually harmful for me to know. And if I knew, it could put me into psychosis. So he's very respectful not to share some things, right? So but if I get the memory, then I go and say, I've had this memory. And then he'll say, yeah, okay, this is that, whatever. But so it's really hard. So one of the things is remembering that not everybody needs to know what we know. Not everybody needs to know what we remember about them. This is something that's quite tricky for me to work with at the moment. But I've had to say to myself, okay, he might have this whole memory of me, but that's a memory of an alter, a different version of me. It's not this Julia version who's the cover life. It's not Julia. It's Anchor Haven. Anchor Haven's the soldier, right? So like Ella is the scientist, Tabitha's the clone commander or whatever, and Major Hildy is someone else. But it's like, but I'm this cover life version. This is Julia, and Julia doesn't need to know everything, so it's quite tricky to. So I'm getting a lot of memories come back. I have trouble placing them at times. There's only a few memories I have with people in them, but some people I wouldn't tell them unless I knew that they remembered me. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because and it's funny as well. Have you noticed that those that are down here with us on Earth, that are also Milabs and have had missions with us, quite often, you know, we're like magnets, right? We gravitate towards each other. It could be very briefly, we could end up being good friends, or really don't get on, you know. I find that a lot as well. And same with me, you know, I've come across many people that we've had both shared memories and we both remember some same details and other bits, like, you know, we're on the same kind of mission, but that they remember this particular part of it, I remember this particular part of it, we kind of put it together. Or on rare occasions we'll have, you know, parts of the exact same memory of the same mission. And there was a point to that. But yeah, again, same, I don't share with, you know, other people I know bits that I've seen or remember about them, because a lot of the time they don't believe it. They don't believe that they're also in Milab, and you don't want to put that on them because they may not be ready for that as well, you know. And basically what you said as well, for those same reasons as well.
Like, if you've been on a mission together and it was not good and people died on that mission, and by talking about it, you're just going to start creating more trauma, more memory cascade of trauma, right? We don't really need to do that. So there's some people who might say, yeah, I remember you from Mars or whatever, but it doesn't mean you want to be best friends with that person. Doesn't mean that you like need anything more than that, right?
Yeah, let's just say, for instance, use me and you as an example. Let's just say hypothetically me and you had a mission together, right? But it may not be you and me, it may be my altar and one of your altars that are besties, you know, just so, you know, there's that as well. So it's very interesting.
I did meet 4 or 5 people in the last year who remember me from other things. One of them remembers me from an off-world German colony, where I was training in espionage and he was the teacher. And when I heard that, it was just so relieving that I wasn't a psychoscientist, because I hear that a lot. And so that we were actually friends off planet, and we've become friends on planet. So that's really refreshing and healthy. But then there's somebody else who remembers me from Nachtwaffen, from Night Weapons, Dark Fleet, people call it. And yeah, it was pretty awful. And I don't really want to talk to them that much now, because it just got darker and darker and darker in that exchange. As they remembered more and more dark stuff, it got harder and harder to be around that person. Yeah, so everyone will remember different versions of you, and it's not that they're wrong, it's just different lives that we've lived all at the same time, simultaneously, in other realms of existence. But we're getting like bleed through memories now, so we can remember bits and bobs. Yeah, so sometimes it's not healthy. That's where I'm going. Like, especially if you've been trauma twinned, trauma bonded with somebody, you may never want to speak to that person ever again. And that was a hard lesson for me to realize, that we might have many different people that we've been in those situations with, and some of them might not want to talk to you at all. Right, and that's just their journey, and there's nothing you can do. And it hurts, actually. It's heart-wrenching when you realize there's a bond with somebody but you can't have a relationship with that person. I actually see it happen to a lot of people. They might say, oh, I remember you and we had a life together or whatever, but that's not the same person. So it's quite a hard lesson for people to remember that that's a bleed through. You're not the same person. It's bleed through memory. Yeah,
like, for instance, there's this woman that she cropped up in my life at least 3-4 times, and there was this strong magnetic energy, you know, romantic energy between us. And I'm a sucker for self-destruction and self-sabotaging, and to be honest, I think I freaked her out because I was oversharing, right? She's just normal, typical, mundane, you know, average human, or at least that's what I thought. But then I started having dreams and memories of her as being together, paired up, or part of a team, wearing kind of like special tactical black ops type gear. And I remember us talking before doing our, you know, mission or after and stuff. And there were moments when we were like really close. But for some reason, I guess with what I mentioned as well, the self-sabotaging, we could just never get it off the ground, you know, as in the sense of, you know, building a relationship together, because I think she wanted to, you know, if I said yeah, she would, you know, before I freaked her out. But my end, it was just like, I knew that I know her on a soul. This is before the memories. I know her, I recognize her energy, I recognize her soul. Yes, I do have, it wasn't just romantic feelings, it was that deep soul remembrance, you know, that deep love, not necessarily in a sexual sense, but that deep love, like you're my person, you're part of my soul group or something. But part of me was holding back because I just knew that we weren't meant to be together in the romantic sense. So again, is that perhaps we were, because I do have memories of both being friends in other parallel worlds as well. But like you say, you know, turns out she is a Milab. She's completely unaware, and we're basically mirrors of each other in so many ways. The things we've gone through, the same timing, the same issues, similar birthday, same star sign. It's just uncanny.
Yeah.
You know, so just using that as an example, really. But yeah, it happens a lot. And also as well, like I find that we don't always get on, you know, when these people who we have memories with, or later on find out we have memories with, we don't get on. And it almost feels like there's an outside energy keeping us apart, perhaps because they know if we come together, what happens? We trigger each other's memories. We start activating one another on a deeper level, again with the memories resurfacing. So I do feel like I've always felt that my life has been kind of like orchestrated, like pulled, manipulated. People I'm meant to meet, let's just say areas that I'm meant to go down or delve into, opportunities, right? I feel like I'm moused in a maze, and you know, and no matter what direction I go, it's like boom, blocked, boom, blocked. I guess it's a way to kind of break me down, to keep me weak, to make me give up. You know, there's that as well. I don't know if you've experienced that, but you know,
it took me a long time to realize that my life was controlled, that every decision was not my own, that every place I went was either a transfer or organized in some way. It took me a really long time to realize that, and it's only now that I'm coming to terms with it. And for me, I did not think I was a targeted individual. I heard people say these things, did not think it applied to me until I was sitting outside my house. I was sitting outside my house. I live in like a cul-de-sac type thing, and I live right by the river. There's a big river here, not far. So we have massive seagulls, really huge seagulls, like wingspan could be like 2 meters kind of seagulls. And they were like flocking around. And I'm just sitting at my house thinking, what are the birds doing? This is so weird, you know. And then one of them, there was a street lamp. The bird smacked into something above the street lamp that was not there. And I heard it smack in. Poof, it literally smacked into something that was cloaked. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what the fuck? And then I saw it was like a cube. It was like a cloaked cube. That's when I realized, okay, that's some kind of monitoring device that I can't see. Okay, this thing is real. This is real. So then I started to research into targeted individual and what that meant. But at the time, I was working on a nuclear processing plant, high security plant. So my whole life has been monitored for the last 10 years, basically. When I came back to the UK, because before that I lived in India, which is a whole other story. And but every day I would be monitored on the train. Then I go to that, you know, that controlled environment where you couldn't even get your phone out. You constantly monitored everything you did. So I feel like I'm being pushed back into that kind of environment again now, having to go back and get a job or whatever. So I've been trying to make my spiritual business work, and I really have tried, but they target our abundance, they target our connections, sometimes they target the internet, as you know. And so I do get a lot of pain in the body. I hardly sleep. I sleep best in the middle of the day. So I can have a really good nap for 2 hours in the middle of the day, but I can't sleep at night. So it's really random. So now I do my podcast at 6 a.m. UK time, which is like 1 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, so a lot of people are in America and Australia. So and that works for me because I don't sleep hardly anyway. So it's fine.
That's the thing as well. Again, I don't know if guys, probably some people, I know a lot of people get sick and tired of people like us, oh, neurodivergent, you know, but you know, it is what it is. We have neurodivergent minds, right? And it's not something to romanticize. It's affected my life. It still does. But yeah, with the sleep thing, I've always been a night owl for me. So we're quite different, I guess, maybe.
I'm day.
You're
I'm
the
very
opposite.
solar. I'm solar. So
See,
I need to sleep at night, and I cannot. That's how they target me. But it's on like a pattern. It's on like a set targeting pattern.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and my twin in America, he's also on a similar pattern. So he'll get paid at 2 a.m. I'll get paid at my 2 a.m. and stuff like that. So it's like, it's weird. It's as if someone's in China just pressing a button. And I know I have clones who are handlers, because I've literally I can go into their mind. And I've seen one in like a booth in like an internet cafe or something in China, and I really do believe that it's a handler. Yeah, so it's mad. So there's I was told I was in the TIRAP program, the Targeted Individual Research Advanced Projects. I was told I was TIRAP, and that means my entire life was targeted. And I'm starting to think that's true. I really am. I'm starting to believe that's true. But I did a video or 2 videos with Miles Johnston from Basis Project, and we talked about using the word empowered rather than targeted, because targeted itself has got a low vibration. So we're looking at us being empowered individuals, and that's why we've got all this attention on us. And what can we do? You know, I work with crystals. I'm a crystal therapist, that kind of stuff. I do a lot of cleansing. I put shielding, energetic shielding in place and things. But I also have a friend who's highly targeted, and he says, what's the point? What's the point? They're going to take you no matter what. But he's in a position where he likes to be taken, because he knows he can get to go off planet. His consciousness goes off planet into an altar there, where he's got a life there that he likes. But we're not.
So he looks forward to that. Yeah,
we're not all that fortunate. Some of us have got awful things that we get transferred into.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you sleep or you don't sleep?
Wow. So ever since I was a kid, I was always the last one in the house to sleep. You know, staring out at the stars till 4 in the morning, and then I was always that kid that was asleep behind the book on the desk. Yeah, that was me. And I've tried all my life to keep myself awake, tire myself out, and so I can be asleep at a sensible hour, like 11, 12. And there's been times where I've been successful for a couple of days, but then I always go back to that sleeping pattern. I just feel like it's just how I'm wired. So at the minute, I don't get sleep until, let's say, anywhere between 3 and 5, maybe later in the morning, and then I sleep then until 10, 11, 12. A lot of the time, I'm a light sleeper, but I always feel like I'm getting that rest. It's the moment there's a shift in energy or tone, I'm in bed, I'm like, who's there? What's going on? Sometimes you're lucky, you might see, like a pair of legs with no torso, belonging to a soldier. Weird things like that. So and insomnia. I've had a lot of that as well.
I'm not as visual as you. I don't see what's around me as much. I hardly ever see orbs. I did see an orb the other day on one of my live videos at 6 a.m. And I clipped it as well, which was cool. But I know you see reptilians in your room or whatever. I never see. I've had one experience with a white light being that came in, but it was good. It was a benevolent being, and it came in and overlaid on my body. And it gave me some kind of upgrade or something, but I'd kind of been waiting and asking for it, to connect to my Arcturian family or whatever. So I did have one positive experience, but then the next night I had a negative experience. So I was kind of taken in my night travels, and I was standing as if I was at some kind of supermarket, and there was a woman, and I knew she needed my help. And as she turned around, she had no mouth, right? And I'm thinking, does she want to telepath with me the way that other white being did? Oh, this doesn't feel so good. No, I don't want to do this. I don't consent to this. So so there's weird beings out there. So they saw that I basically invited in that white Arcturian being, because it was part of my soul family. And then something else tried to target me in between.
Yeah, it makes sense. Whenever I have
a little bit.
Oh yeah, I heard it. I think we're all right now. Can you hear me? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're getting interference on the internet.
You can hear me now, yeah? Good.
Yeah.
So I find that when I have positive experiences, shortly after I'll have negative experiences, because they know. You know,
Yeah.
we're Milabs, right? We are. I know people hate this,
After
but we're in the
this,
matrix, right?
after
And
this, I'll
nothing.
get targeting for 2 days straight after this. I will.
Yeah,
I always do. Yeah. After I do
yeah.
anyone SSP, any kind of targeted individual, I get hit quite
Mhm.
bad for like 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah. For me, it's like they affect your frequency, and they can do that remotely. Obviously, you know this, and it's like sometimes it'll be very quick, and sometimes it'll be slowly and gradual. And it's like you slip into a depression, but there's no reason. There's nothing happened in your life, nothing's triggered you.
Yeah.
You just slowly slip, and that's what they're the ones that get you when it's slowly, because you don't notice, you don't realize until your frequency's really down, very low,
Yeah.
and you're in that dark place, right? And it takes a lot of energy and focus to pull yourself out of that. But usually when you get that to the lowest point, like really low, sometimes you're like, oh, of course, they're effing with me again, you know? So
Yeah.
now I'm getting quicker. And I've done this all my life, but I've just put it down to depression and
There's
this and that.
pressure coming in. It's like
Yeah,
weight of pressure coming in on my head as we talk about it.
yeah. Like I'm not
Yeah.
naturally a depressive person. I'm very, you know, you know, I'm optimistic, right? I always believe, even in my darkest hour, I always have just enough faith, you know. There's been times where I haven't, but you know, then usually positive intervention comes in as well. I get help from my
Yeah.
family and people around me, people in my DMs who I have no idea send me a nice, beautiful message, and then you reply, and poof, they're gone again, and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like an angel, you know. You know, just something as simple as an energy, words of encouragement, just you're not alone, or I felt drawn to you for some reason. And I know that is intervention, perhaps from my
Yeah.
oversoul, my spirit team. So we do have that, you know, we do have that behind us. But yeah, there's so many ways that we get, you know, targeted and attacked and stuff. And like you know, usually if I'm talking about specific things, if I'm coming into memories more, if I'm connecting dots, right? Either prior or after, again, I start having that attack, psychic attack, that energy frequency
Yeah.
manipulation, you know, every time. Yeah, it's a
Do you ever
spiritual
get
war.
do you ever get like voices, like clear voices coming in saying mean things?
Yeah,
I get that. Not
yeah.
often lately, but I have had some really weird things. And I was in a tent in
Like
a field in the middle
intrusive,
of
sudden
nowhere and it
intrusive.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got like
yeah,
two men's voices coming in, and I'm in a tent. There's no one around me. Right? That's when I realized, oh, okay, that's that voice to skull people are talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it can be very clear, and sometimes it cannot be as clear. But you know, it's something outside of yourself, because, for instance, it doesn't sound like you. It's not your inner
Yeah.
voice. You know,
Yeah.
it's a distinct. It's what is a male voice. You know,
Yeah. Although
and
I had a strange thing yesterday. I was in meditation, and a voice that sounded not like me but sounded female just said, "We don't look like Julia."
oh
What?
wow,
What?
wow,
Okay. Thanks.
that's got to be one of your altars.
Maybe. But
Yeah.
I've had for about 3 weeks I had a name coming in, and the name was a Sarah Erisu. And then so I started to look into this, and it's actually an alter of me that's in a Japanese video game and a cartoon. And I
Yeah,
was getting really into this, thinking, you know, even it's like my French version. She's got a teddy bear. I like teddy bears. People give me teddy bears. And
I've
you
loads,
know,
loads. I
right,
don't know
right.
what it is with us and teddy bears, but we've got
Right.
loads.
Yeah, so then I started to do all this deep dive into this Japanese cartoon and game, Sakura Wars, and then I realized, is this helpful or is this harmful? What's the point? Is this
Yeah.
a distraction? Yeah, it was a
Mm.
distraction. So it was good to know that that's another archetype of me that's been utilized. That's in, you know, the Japanese breakaway is a big thing, and they're using like Arasaka, they're using mind control in games here on planet and off
Oh
planet
yeah,
and stuff. So it was
yeah,
like it's letting me know that, but then it started to become a distraction. So I had to push it to one side and say, okay, thanks for that, but let me carry on what I'm doing. Otherwise I
yeah.
get a self-defeating altar that comes out. I don't know
I've
who
got
they
a
are yet.
helicopter. I've got a
Have you?
helicopter.
I've not seen anything yet. I've had two black helicopters in the last year.
Oh no, wrong
One
one.
quite recently. Oh wow.
The black helicopter. You see it?
Yeah, I think so. Move to the left a bit. Is that a helicopter there?
Yeah, it's probably in the distance now.
Okay, one quite recently. Oh wow.
The black helicopter, you see it?
Yeah, I think so. Move to the left a bit. Is that a helicopter there?
Yeah, it's probably in the distance now.
Okay.
It's huge. It literally went over my hair. It literally went over my house.
Yeah.
Literally went over my house, rumbled. And big black helicopter.
We got their attention. That's cool. I did get a picture of one earlier on
Oh,
last
I
year.
just got
It was over my
confirmation
house.
chill. Oh my god, sorry. Yeah, confirmation chill.
So I've got a picture of one, and but the time and date is slightly wrong on the picture. So it was in a time bubble. And I spoke to Miles about it because I'm standing across the road thinking that's been over my house for like 30 minutes. I was on the bus, I went to the shop, it's still there. And he's saying there's no way that could be black helicopter because it couldn't use all that fuel for 30 minutes over your house. That's insane. It must have been a ship projecting out a helicopter.
Yes, you're right. They do that. Why did I forget that? Yes. Oh, confirmation chills. Oh, if you could feel that. Completely forgot about that. You're right. Yeah.
But when I went back to check the photo, why is the time wrong? Unless it's in a time bubble of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah. They manipulate time, of course.
Yeah.
They do that as well.
Yeah.
So
so
this is why I like us coming together because you help me remember things.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah. It's funny, it's because our voices are both activating. So as we talk, we'll trigger something in each other. For me, there was a phrase that somebody said on a video last year that activated my heads up display. So I got a vision, I got a visor open, and the phrase was master of observers. Master of observers, and it literally got a projection come out of my eyes with multiple screens, ding 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 ding, and that was the biggest activation I've ever had to really say, yeah, there is a left eye implant that definitely works. This screen came in, the screen's activated a few times in the last 6 months, but never as much info as I got on that first activation, which was so much that I just could not pay attention to everything. So that was a massive memory vault access.
Wow.
On that phrase, master of observers.
It's just, it's incredible. I mean, I do gaslight myself. I know I will later. Like, I know, apart my rational mind and logical mind is like, it's just, and I don't get many helicopters, right? It's like today, right? I said to you, so guys, before we jumped on and did, doing this video, I had workmen outside because where I live is like a little cul-de-sac, and they were ripping up basically the road bit in the middle, and they were doing some work, and they got the drills on and all the loud noise pollution and and all the material flying everywhere, and I was just like, of all the days that they decide to do that, it's not like because it's personal, oh, Zoe's doing a physio, let's just go in, let's just make some noise pollution. But it was just so weird. It was like, of all the time they could have done it, it's not something they do all the time today. But anyways, it turned out they did leave literally 5 minutes before we did this video. And, I believe...
Just a warning. It's a warning.
Do you think that's what it could be?
Because they did not look very professional as well. Which is no,
they didn't. There was in fact, I looked at the vans. There was no writing. There was no like, like you get professional vans. They have the name, the logo. There was none of that. They were just plain.
I get a white van that sits outside my apartment block like early in the morning, just a white van. I've kind of like just looked out the window. This is a white van below my window. Like that happens a lot. So they're just monitoring. I
have so many white vans. It's like identical, the same vans all the time around here. Now we do have, I say we, I use, not that I use pronouns we, I don't know if it's an altered thing, but I say we, but anyway.
It's a professional we.
We. It's the French within me. We. Identical vans, it's not unusual, to see two vans perhaps on the same street, the same kind of vans, but at times I've seen like 3 or 4. It was just very weird. And let me see if I can show you.
I see number plates that have EFE. I see that all the time. I don't know what that means. EFE. Let me write that down actually.
So see this house here, how very close it is. Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see there's like a little tiny bird box on the corner of the roof? Can you see that?
I'm not sure if I can see that. Maybe. Yeah.
Can you see it now? like a little box.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I am very logical and rational, guys. I'm not paranoid. Like, I'll know later, but like that helicopter is just nothing. It just happened to go over my head. I gaslight myself a lot, and maybe
No,
that is
no,
a
don't. It's
program.
like, just think of it as you're documenting everything.
Yeah,
Surveillance, we document everything. It doesn't matter whether you believe it to be true, good, bad, right,
exactly.
or wrong. We document everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we can refer
exactly.
back
It
to it
may
another
be
time.
connected, it may be not, it may be personal, it may be not. I don't know, but I just, like you say, I document. Because I do gaslight myself. I have a strong ego in the sense of very logical, very rational. That's strong within me. I don't know if it's my bloodline or what. Orion, we are very logical, very rational. We have to have proof. We have to have evidence. This is what we're like.
I didn't realize that you were from Orion. That's not something I knew.
Yeah.
So, not many people talk about Orion, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm predominantly Lyran. Got a ring. I'm a Lyran Orion.
Okay.
So a huge amount of Lyran DNA, but Orion as well, and some other mixes. But yeah, anyway, with that house there, who lives there is an ex-copper, right? I've lived in this cul-de-sac for 11 years, and people have moved in, they've moved out. I am one of 3 originals, meaning we've been here since these houses were built. And I just want to say as well, like, I'm not fortunate to buy my own home. This is a governmental housing association property,
I'm in a housing association as well,
which I know because our lives are orchestrated and controlled. That they we are targeted. They know who we are, and so they pick houses. Because every house I've lived in, I have been
both in housing association.
Yeah. Every house I've been in, it's been 10 minutes from this military base I never even knew existed until last year. Even growing up as a kid, I moved 9 times as a kid. All around this base. So it's like they had to keep all confirmation chills. It's like they had to keep me in a certain proximity, if that's the right word. So again, going back to this guy, this ex-cop, right? He's one of the originals. He's got this weird energy, right? And even my daughter, she's 18, and she said, Mum, and she's not like this. She's not a suspicious person. She's not paranoid. She's a little bit, in her own little world until there's a reason to be a little bit, suspicious of things. And she's like, Mum, that cop, it gives me weird vibes. And, and I said, yeah, there's something about him. Again, this is just
checking my pendulum now.
So out of all the houses, there's 18 houses, right? His is the only house roof that has this suspicious looking tiny little bird box, which points through my window, right? And this is another weird thing as well, and it actually frustrates me. Probably TMI, guys, but when I'm on my own, I like to walk around my house naked. I have sensory issues with clothes and stuff. I'll hoover naked. I'm hoovering my bedroom naked half an hour before jumping on the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
But whenever I am getting out the shower, whenever I'm in my room and I'm naked and I'm not that close to the window, I kid you not, he's always in his garden, which looks into my window, looking at me. Not all the time, but the majority of the time. Whenever I leave the house to put rubbish in the bin, he pulls up round the corner on his bike. Whenever he's there, and I'm like, how does he do it?
He does appear to be a handler, but he doesn't seem to be linked to UK factions.
No.
So
sorry, guys, for shouting. I just.
No, it's fine. So I also project them on my phone, so it's like I have to. So I did get a yes on handler. So for some people, so putting this out there, not everybody realizes that they're a handler. Not everybody realizes they're a handler. They could think that, just keep an eye on this person, and we'll give you 50 quid a month or whatever. Just let us know or whatever. So not everybody realizes that they're in some big dark covert program. They think that maybe it's like a long lost relative of yours who really cares about you, just wants to know if you're all right, and they've been like hoodwinked into something like that. But I'm getting more of a NSA kind of vibe here.
I'm getting more, and it's all right if you're picking up something different, but it's almost, I don't know, I'm torn. I feel like, and I that's what I thought, that's what I was leading up to, the handler vibe. And I'm getting more, it's kind of like 50-50. It's like he's a normal person, right, living a normal life. He's an ex-cop, he's obsessed with his bikes, he's always working on his bikes, that's how he is on the surface. But it's like it's like he doesn't know he's a handler, but at the same
Yeah.
time, there's this, he knows he's drawn to my energy, and like what you said, it's
Yeah.
like it's like his spider senses go up the moment I'm near the window. It's like he knows, his senses. Maybe it's
So this is making me think that there's a bit of mind control there, that people can see through his eyes in a way.
like cameras.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's being remotely controlled.
Perhaps, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but you know, again, guys, I'm not paranoid. I
He
don't
could
believe.
also be there to protect you.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Think about it that way. Yeah, because even though I know I'm targeted by multiple factions, I think there's got to be at least one or two that are trying to keep me alive, because if they don't, I've got a bit of a Voldemort situation going on with me and the clones, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be one faction that wants to keep you alive for a purpose. Otherwise you wouldn't be alive, and you wouldn't be targeted if you weren't important.
And I don't feel he's bad. So sorry, just quickly.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's bad. He speaks to the neighbours occasionally, but he comes off as a little bit introverted, a little bit secretive. Again, but occasionally he will speak to the neighbours, and he's got this, you know, soft energy about him. But then there's that other side to him, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it sounds like he is active, but it could be positive.
Yeah.
Potentially could be an ally. Who knows? Keep your wits about you. But if he's been there 11 years.
Yeah.
Right.
11 years. Literally opposite. Well, you see how close the house is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always that, not straight away. In fact, it took me at least, well, only 2 years ago, I looked at that little bird box, and that was it. I was like, how come his roof is the only one that's got a little bird box? By the way, never seen any bird go in or out.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Never any bird go near that on it. So are they scenting something? It's like something disguised as a tiny bird box.
It's kind of emitter.
And no other roof has this bird box, but it's staring directly into my window. Well, I didn't think that straight away, because I'm very logical, very rational. I'm just very like, that's strange. Just random little bird box, you know, how very nice of the, you know, council housing and whatever. How very nice. But then I was just like, with his energy, and he happens to always be there when I'm there, or catches me, like it's embarrassing. Put it this way, I can't look at him in the eyes again, because he's seen me naked more times than I've seen myself naked. So yeah, it's a bit awkward.
Yeah. So when I first moved in here with my son, which was about 11 years ago, there's a neighbour right across the street, and within like so many hours of us kind of, you know, settling in, he was at the door. Oh, you just moved in, have you, love? Is it okay if I come and have a look at your kitchen? What?
Yeah.
I just want to see how they've got it set up. You don't mind, do you? And he ends up coming in, right? Which is very suspicious now, because I'm thinking now he's planted something. And my son, who was little at the time, had to come and say, Mum, we're watching a movie. We're watching a movie. Are you coming back? And then he was like, oh, okay. And then he left. But it was really weird. He wanted to get into my kitchen. Right, it was very bizarre, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this guy who's and I've seen him naked as well, because he was outside his house once watering the plants, and I was pulling up in a friend's car, and he just kind of like saw the car coming and turned, so we just missed the full frontal. We got on the rear, and we're saying to the kids in the back of the car, look to the other way.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Most handlers are military looking, in my experience.
Yeah.
Whether external,
I had something. Let me know what you think about this, because I've shared it on my channel already. So I don't leave the house very often. I'm very introverted. I get very overwhelmed. Again, it's sensory thing with me. It gets worse with age as well. But anyway, so occasionally I'll go into town with my daughter. We do our little shopping stuff, go to the same places. You know, again, guys, I'm not a paranoid person. I'm not always looking over my shoulder. I'm not always like, oh, that person's looking at me. He's an agent, is this and that. You are. Maybe I should be more. But I guess like
surveillance. That's why I've literally been trained in surveillance and counter surveillance. That's why I am. Yeah.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm so in my own little world, bumping into things, tripping over things. My daughter will be like, Mum, that woman's just spoke to you. Mum, you've just nearly banged into that woman. And I'm like, what? Because I get distracted with all the colours and things. Anyway, so guys, I'm not naturally like that. So, but anyway, this was probably about 3 weeks ago. So I'm walking just next to a shop because we're about to go into this particular shop, Home Bargains, in case any of you want to know. And there's this guy that walks towards us. Bear in mind, this path, we've got a wide path, right? But he chose to kind of like be directly in front of us, coming obviously, the opposite way, facing us. And he kept eye contact. And it wasn't necessarily like he was trying to come off intimidating, but there was just this weird energy about him. And I remember he kept full eye contact. In fact, me and my daughter actually moved out the way so he could go past. And I remember jokingly saying to my daughter, "Oh, rude, what's his problem?" He's a bit, it kind of felt a little bit like, I don't know, I can't explain it. I couldn't really tap into emotions, right? It was almost like NPC, type energy. I'm not going to get into whether I believe they're real or not, but it's kind of, if I had to compare it. So anyway, so me and my daughter, we proceed and go into Home Bargains, and we're looking on one of the aisles. And this guy that walked past me in the shop, I even watched him go off, all of a sudden was on the same aisle as me, keeping eye contact. He did not move his eyes. Solid eye contact. And again, my daughter's, she doesn't think everyone's out to get her type thing. And I turned and looked at my daughter. We looked at each other as if to say, like, what the heck? We left, again, logical, rational. I just didn't think it was anything weird. I just thought, oh, what a coincidence, right? Silly me. And again, he was pretending to look at things. He was pretending to, and he really wasn't. He just kept looking at me, and not just me, my daughter as well. He was doing the same look. Anyway, so we move off into another aisle, and then shortly I see him walking past the aisle, scanning, looking, and then he sees me and he kind of goes back, eye contact, goes back onto the same aisle as me and my daughter. And again, he did that 3 or 4 times in the super store, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm being targeted here. Something's not right here. And I actually wanted to get my camera out. I wish I had to record it, but my daughter, she hates confrontation. I'm very confrontational. And my friends have warned me, Zoe, don't, because if you confront them, you could go nasty, but I can't help it. Maybe that's part of my alter, I don't know. But my daughter nudged me with her elbow as if to say, don't you dare, because of the embarrassment she would, get from that. But I so wish I had. In fact, I want to get a body cam, a little one. So anyway, after we bought our bits, we went to the tills, and I was looking around, and the only way he could have got out is if he got, what the shops are like, through the, the side of the checkout. He was nowhere to be seen. So not only did I experience that, my daughter's very logical, very rational. And even she said, Mom, that was weird. That was freaky,
Yeah.
Insane. But things like that.
Yeah, I did experience, I guess it's not really gang stalking, but it was like, I do sound therapy. So I was on a course in Norfolk, and I was with my sister and a friend, and we were just staying in like a travel lodge, but there was a service station. And so I went to the shop, and as I'm coming out the shop, there was like a 6'5" Germanic looking soldier type person, right? Just casually just happened to be coming in as I'm exiting. And so I thought, okay, well, he looks totally out of place here. And then the next day we were walking through the little village, and again, somebody who was identical looking to that guy just happened to be walking towards me. Okay, he looked very military or very Air Force or whatever, just fit that description. Do you know what I mean? And I was thinking, okay, I've been planning this trip for a while. I'm generally okay as long as I plan things in advance. But if I make changes, like today, I decided to go to Manchester to go to the Crystal Wholesaler. So, so I generally get some targeting if I change my plans. I'm kind of institutionalized in a way of keep to the routine. Keep to the routine and you'll be fine. Keep to the routine and it'll be less. That's kind of how my mind works right now. Keep to the routine. Yeah, so but I'm pretty oblivious a lot of the time, and I try not to leave the house that much, but I'm changing jobs soon. Going from working at home to working out and about. So yeah, it's going to change everything again, but we'll see. I'm sure I'll get the exact job that they want me to get, won't I?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's insane. Again,
Yeah.
I saw someone who matched the description. You know, he was like African, British Jamaican.
Mm.
Again, out of place. This was in Morrison's. Doing my
Right.
shopping at Morrison's, guys. Out
Wow.
of place.
I've
Big
got them
built.
two
Yeah,
Morrisons.
big
I'm up
built.
in
Out of
Iceland.
place.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, I was going there a little bit. I do like a bit of Iceland. You know, got to get your bargain. Uh, but yeah, no, again, out of place, tall,
Yeah.
got that military energy, and again, it's always the looking through your eyes, in penetrating your soul, eye
Yeah.
contact. Get your words out. Again, it's that. It's almost like they they can't be too obvious, although they are because they're there. But
They're
I mean, it's
pretty
like they can't
obvious.
exchange words, but they give you that look as if to say enough for you to recognize them, and because they know you're going to know
Yeah.
and think something's not right here. Is it a warning? Is it just like we're keeping
Yeah.
eyes on you? You
Yeah.
know, again, street theatre.
Yeah.
So I basically confronted one of my handlers in one of my missions, and I said to them, bring it on. You want war, we're going to have war. This was obviously one of my alters, right? She don't mess about. So then, and the next day, again, I went into town, going down the street with my daughter and her partner, and you know, a car comes. Sorry, first of all, it was like a work van
Mm.
comes flying past, and there's two men in the front, and they're basically shouting something, but I couldn't catch on or grasp what it was they were saying because it was super fast, right?
Yeah.
Again, you logical, rational, you get idiots all the time. You know, they have a few drinks, you know, after work, think they're, you know what they're like. They're idiots sometimes on the road, you know. So when it's just a one-off like that, I think it's just that, right? But it was a series of events in the short space of like 5 minutes. So after that, there was a song that entered my head called what's her name? The one that goes, "Calm as a bitch, you should have known better." Jojo, clear as day in my mind, right?
Mm.
And the weirdest thing was, seconds after that, my daughter's boyfriend starts singing "Calm as a bitch." You
Wow.
should, I swear to God, calm as a bitch. You should have known better. And I froze, and immediately I knew.
Yeah.
I've got confirmation chill. I say that a lot, sorry guys, but if you could feel the energy I get, like it's insane. And I said to my son-in-law, "What random?" I knew what was going on. I was like, "Random? Why are you singing that?" And he went, "Singing what?" He couldn't remember. And then my daughter went,
Whoa.
"Yeah, you were just singing calm as a bitch. You should have known better." So again, it's them letting me know, because
Yeah.
I confronted them, because I said, "You want to play? Let's play. It's war,
Yeah.
right?" The third thing that happened briefly after that was I'm pretty sure it was a black car, if my memory serves me correctly. What I noticed first of all was someone honking the horn, right?
Yeah.
So then I turn and look, expecting to see someone running out in the road, a kid or something like that, or a car in front of that slammed his brakes on, nothing. There was no one in front of this car, but it slowed down, honking its horn, which caught my attention. And I kid you not, guess what was on the number plate? In capital letters, war.
Whoa.
If that's not a message, like you
Yeah.
want to play, you want to test us, this is
Yeah.
the power we have. And so, yes, I was very paranoid that day going to the supermarket, and I was like constantly like, "Oh my God, there could be anyone pretending to shop right now." And there were a man again in that supermarket. I was very on edge that day, as you can imagine. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it happens like in a series of events like that in a short space of time. Again, when it
Yeah.
first happens, you think, "Oh, idiots on the road. Oh, someone's had a bad day, giving you dirty looks." But when it's a series of events like that, then my logical rational mind's like, nah, that's some
Yeah.
that because they read your thoughts, they can use people, monitoring spirit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting as well, because not only my daughter but my daughter's boyfriend has memories or dream recall, again similar to what I had at their age, and I'm like, oh
Wow.
shit, they're putting them through the training stage.
Yeah. I mean, that somebody's told me that my son is probably in the programs as well, and of course I would never have had if I'd known that that was a possibility. I didn't know
Yeah,
that, you know.
yeah,
And but somebody said they've seen him as well, like in the future, which is quite disturbing. But I can now, when I think back, I can get to that point where I know his personality changed, and he was around 8 years old, so that makes sense. It does, unfortunately. We're back in my hometown here, and less than 200 meters from my house is a shipping yard, where I was taken through, and I had a memory come back in of literally waiting in a queue to go into a shipping container where there was a portal, like a temporary portal tech been put in place. So, and that's like so close. Wherever I've lived, there's always been something nearby. There's definitely
yeah,
always been something nearby. Yeah.
yeah,
When I lived down south, that was the worst, but I'm only just starting to get into that kind of memory now. I know there was a lot of dark stuff that went on, because I remember I was working in a call centre when I lived in Bromley in Kent, and I used to say to somebody, a friend on the phone in the department, I just feel like I'm a demon or something. I feel like I get locked away at night in a dark dungeon and all this weird shit's going on. And so I'm just starting to look into that kind of stuff now. I don't like looking into the Montauk and all that, which everyone loves to talk about Montauk, but they forget that it was time missions. They just want to talk about the trauma. They don't focus on the time missions.
yeah,
When I get the time mission memories, that's when I'm going to start talking about it more. Not the
yeah,
training process that they put you through, right? Which I do have a memory of now, a drowning experience memory. But I want to know about the time missions we went on. That was Montauk. That was Project Phoenix, not the rest of it. Right? Why
yeah,
people are fixated on the trauma of it and not the actual stuff we were doing. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's insane. But
That's
there's
that's
so
the most important bit, I think, as
exactly.
well. Yeah,
Yeah. People just
it
get stuck on the trauma and they don't
they
heal the trauma. They just cycle in the trauma.
yeah.
So,
It
yeah.
for me, one of the programs I'm in, unfortunately, is the Monarch program,
Yeah.
and I have tons of experiences. I mean, you've probably heard
Do
me
you
share
do you
them, but
remember do you remember being in the Monarch base in Canada? It was a
again,
big
I've been in
Monarch
many bases.
facility.
Can you
So it's like
describe
a
it?
not really, not much for me because a lot of it's dark. Or I've got this one memory where it's like as if it's in like a parking lot and it goes down and it's a really bright white space, right? So, but my dad, he's got a lot more memories than I have. I'm still trying to get into it. I'm still trying to crack it open for me, but I know I was there. So that's the Monarch Dome, and it was so big. It was all of Toronto basically, and it went into America as well. So it's
Yeah,
likely that you were there at some point because we all were just, we went over there for training.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm still working on that one. It's not
yeah.
comfortable. Yeah.
It's I struggle, as you know, with me watching some of my things. Like you can see me gaslighting myself in some of the things I share, and some of the biggest things that I have difficulty sharing is things that involve like seeing celebrities. Now, I know Hollywood is it's the Monarch program. Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
mind control puppets. These celebrities, not only on the service, are they distracting us, entertaining us, mind washing us, brainwashing us, and all that. They're used as well in the Monarch programs. Okay, they're passed around. They're being trained in espionage,
Yeah.
invited. All that. So I struggle. I've got many memories of seeing celebrities and stuff like that, and I'm not one for worshipping celebrities. I don't, I'm not really into that. But
A lot of people say that they can't see faces, that faces get blurry. Do you get that as well?
yes and no. So it's like a screen blur they put because I don't want us to remember the face. But a lot of the time I do see the faces, and it could be reptilian as well, disguising to look like that. It could be manipulated screen memories. I believe there's that in the mix as well. It's not always like, oh, I saw Angelina Jolie in a ritual drinking infant's blood and I was there mind control to do it. They do use other faces. But we know at the same time the Hollywood are involved in that. They've got alters. They don't know what they're getting up to when they go to bed at night, when they're being taken out of their body or physically taken. They're up to all sorts. Many of them know, many of them don't. And again, there was another point to that. But yeah, I'm going to be sharing eventually my memories with certain. At least stop saying celebrities because well-known people.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because, you know, I'm in the Monarch program, so I would see a lot of them. I have memories of being passed around as a kid and a teenager by these filthy old smelly men in these private clubs and parties. So it's like they were doing all that to me. But then when I got to a certain age, then the espionage stuff came in. Undercover agent, espionage, used as a spy, used to collect
Yeah.
information, intel, and that's kind of what they're using me for as well. So, but yeah, there's many programs. Do you have any memories yourself of?
Not that much, to be honest. So I've had a Montauk memory I've had a couple of Montauk memories. One was of being in a room, and the room was very dark, but it's the smell that was the memory. It was the smell. And there was cages and things like people talk about. I remember seeing that. But I also did, I do vision questing. So I do live vision questing with Sean Bond on his channel, Sonic League. So in one of them, we are, you know, we do shamanic practitioner type work. And but it was so clear. So we spend a long time. We spent 3 hours to get these memories from the back of my memory vault. And but he said, look for the memory chair. And my memory just went ding, and there was like a Montauk chair. And I was like, no, 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 thank you. No, I don't want to do that. And then so I'm like thinking, okay, but what I kind of went into was I was a boy. I was like an 8-year-old blonde boy. And I saw myself clearly. Like I was looking at myself. I saw I was in the chair. I saw there was a portal. I saw there was a reptilian in the corner of the room also. And but so I kind of, because it was a memory, I was able to integrate the memory and kind of share healing, which is part of my process. But another memory I have, and somebody reached out to me recently and confirmed this memory of being in a cage with a girl. I remember sparring with her, and she messaged me recently, and we FaceTimed, and she said to me, "You hurt me, but I forgive you." Whoa, it was really, yeah. So I knew at some point people were going to start coming forward and saying, I remember the dark things you did. I remember the really dark things you did, and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I was a genetic scientist, so I've got a memory of being on Nakwafin lab. I remember my lab. I remember sitting at my desk. I remember working with vials and slides. And I remember the focused feeling of, I was fascinated by that work. Don't you dare disturb me when I'm doing my work. Right?
Hyper focused,
super hyper focused. So yeah, geneticist big time. So I remember that. I remember walking out of that room into a larger room where there were tanks and there were bodies. So there were little cloning stations. Basically, they're just in stasis. So I remember being in that room, and I can see quite a lot of that now that I've revisited it and I've gone back. I've got memories of being in a lab in Russia, and I verified the location as well with another asset. Yeah, the other asset has verified that they were there with me, but they're not ready to go into that yet. But we were in a time displaced mission. So I believe me and this other person had an entire life together, right? And so the memory is very clear. He was in the room with me, and it's not somebody that I've spoken about publicly because I haven't got permission to use his name on it because he's not ready yet. I remember seeing him teleporting around the lab. It was just me and him, and we were in Siberia. Basically, we were deep down in like the depths of a lab in Siberia. I've done a video on it; it's on my channel. But I've got other memories of us just being there together, playing checkers. We were there for a really long time playing checkers, you know, little things like that, day-to-day memories. Like, you know, we were sharing a bed together because it was like minus 20, 30 degrees or whatever. So we were all huddled up together and stuff like that. So I remember being in that facility. I'm not entirely sure what we were doing. I think it was about augmenting abilities. It was something about isolating the DNA. And then when I explored it with another remote viewer, there was something below it, which was more Lemurian, stargates, that kind of thing that had been destroyed, and they were trying to not reanimate, they were trying to reconstruct them, like reverse engineer. So whatever we were doing was linked into that. So, but they need us to access the ancient technology. They need our DNA to do that. So that
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. Yeah.
But being Russian SSP, I have a clear memory of that, and I located it. I located it on the map, and I verified it. I verified it with another asset, right? Being in Australia, I've verified locations there as well. Where else? I verified a location that's near Hastings, which came to me when I was in the bath, right? I was
When
in
you're
the
in
bath,
water, I
I was
always
in a
get
salt bath,
information in
yeah.
water.
I was
Yeah.
in a salt bath and I got the name of the location come to me. I'd never heard it before in my life. So I went to it, had a look on the map, tuned into it, kind of remote view. I could see there was at least 7 levels. So I got another friend. We did a live vision quest on live remote view grid work on this. And he verified that, yes, it was a base. I talked to somebody else. They also remember being there before they went to like a European project. So, yeah, so I found 2 new bases in the last 6 months. Yeah, a base in Russia and a base in the south of England. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So everything I do, I verify it internally, verify it with data if I can, and verify it with at least 2 or 3 other people if possible. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that work. But yeah, so I've got memories are very scattered at times, but like I've traveled all over. So I started in the UK, went to Australia, went to New Zealand, lived in India for 10 years. So I could do a whole nother video about India. I lived in Thailand. I visited Malaysia and Sri Lanka. So I went all over, and I believe everywhere I went was part of a project of some kind. I really do. America, I'm very Americanized. So, but I kind of know from the connection I have with my dyad that we grew up together in a base in Canada or America. We literally grew up together, and then we were split off after training and stuff. So we were some of like yourself probably, we broke free of the programming, so we were put in a special unit. So they kept trying to reprogram, we kept breaking free, so we were put in another unit where we had a bit more command of ourselves in a way. So but Drago talks a lot more about the merge, so the Monarch Umbrella refugee group. I think it has a different name, to be honest, but I connected in with a version of myself last year. So I was in meditation and I call it clone slipping. So I saw myself on a plane. I'm literally looking like I'm on this plane. I'm fully suited and booted, all in black. Opposite me, I knew that was my dyad partner. We're on a plane and the side of the plane is open, as if we're getting ready for a jump. So I ask what I think is the clone. Where are we? And they say Russia. And I said, verify. And they say Northeast Russia. I said, how did we get on this plane? Shows me a memory of walking up to a grey plane, an Air Force plane. And then so we're getting to that point of jumping out the plane. I literally got to that point of I jumped out of the plane and then I came back into my body. Now I know that that wasn't a clone. That was me when I was 15 years old in 2025.
Oh my God.
Right? That was a time mission. I was on a merge mission with my dyad, my battle bond. So we were both 15, or he's a bit older than me, but we're around 15 years old, and we were on a time displaced mission in 2025, which then became my reality. And I was able to tune into that version of myself in the here and now, a version of me from 35 years ago. Right. So yeah, so it's not always a clone. Someone said to me, why did you think it was a clone? And I was like, well, I just didn't think that I'd be able to meet another version of me in the here and now, because that's insane. But I literally, my consciousness tuned into the other version of me. So so that's mind-blowing, crazy shit.
That's the thing as well. It's not always our clone. They've taken me physically. Mostly when I was a kid, they took me physically, which makes sense because I needed to put me through training to help. But when they are training the different alters, they needed my body and mind and that. So that makes sense why I have lots of memories of putting me through training and things like that, and tests, pitting me against other children is very common. Hooked up to, there was like a big flash, like someone flashed a light in my eyes. Then that was weird.
Did you read the book by Luka Novak? Have you read her book?
I'm not good with names, but that doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, because it talks about the training on a moon type base, but being pitted against each other. There's an arena. So rings a bell. Yeah, it talks a bit about that. I just totally disassociated and read 95% of the book, and then I stopped. And my friend said to me, how did you read that book when you can't watch anything scary? You can't listen to scary things. How did you read that book? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea how I read the book. I dissociated totally. But that was kind of battle training.
So they've taken me physically. According to someone, I won't give the name away, but I looked this for the other year. I don't know, but I'll just repeat what she said. Apparently they still take me at least to physically 2-3 times a week. I've got a camera in my room, of course, you know. I'm like, well, surely the camera's going to pick it up. I'm like, well, no, because they slip you out of time, right? You could be gone hours, days, longer, and then they slip you in, but you're looking at the camera, you're not going to see that. I can't explain it. I have a difficult time trying to explain these things, but you know, I've got a camera just in case.
Because it's not logical, it's not linear, but they literally do that exact thing. Yeah.
You know, so they'll take me, usually if they've threatened me, they've taken me physically and put me in a chair and they've drugged me to erase my memories. That's not nice.
I get a lot of what I think are mind wipes, but I think some of it is me altering out. Yeah, one of the things was I watched a video. It was on one of my friend's channels, and the video's from like 3 months earlier, and I'm thinking, oh my god, how did I miss this video? I pull up the live chat recording and my name is all the way through it, and then we get 10 minutes in, he's like, oh, Anki Hayden's in the chat, and I'm like, I've never seen this video, so it's been wiped out of my mind.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to rewatch the whole video. But then somebody said to me recently, it's not that you had your mind wiped, it's that you're just not the same person who watched the video. You're on a different timeline.
Yeah, there's that as well. That comes into play big time. Yeah.
So there's a lot of timeline weaving that goes on with the work that I do. Yeah.
This is what I thought we could probably, for the last bit, we could talk about that. You know, I know you mentioned earlier you saw one of your clones with the white, very pale skin, white hair. So if you want, just share if you don't know if you've got any other accounts of similar things like that. But
that's the only one of me actually seeing a clone in the here and now. Although I do have, it's like a dream. I don't really put in for dream memories, but it's like a memory I have of playing with myself, playing with a girl that looks exactly like me. I don't know where that memory came from, but it feels like it was in my house when I was growing up, but she looked exactly like me. So obviously the location's not right. The screen is in there. But people, when I live down south near Kent, everyone used to say to me, you working in that nightclub in Croydon? She looks exactly like you, that barmaid. Are you sure that's not you?
Yeah.
And then recently I was at the Basis conference in December, which is in Pewsey in Wiltshire. And then I travelled down with a lady, and then she went off to, she was in Wales, South Wales. She's in South Wales. She messaged me saying, you're in this coffee shop. You're in this coffee shop over there. She didn't send me a photo, but I wish she had, right? Because she's literally like, I've just seen you in that coffee shop. And so because once you know that I'm a multi-clone, you see me everywhere. You literally do. You see, I mean, I might be taller, I might be slimmer because I'm a bit heavy right now, but my hair might even be slightly different color, but you will see me everywhere, different ages, and it's multi-clone everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, and we get used a lot. So yes, that's the main one. But when I look at people now, there's a lot of people in the community, especially in America, who for me it's like looking in a mirror. It's like I can tell when people are clones. It's like there's like a clone marker around their eyes here. I can't explain it, but it's like I can pick up on something on their face.
Got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'm sure you know what fibromyalgia is. It's like chronic.
I get as a therapist, as a like holistic therapist, a lot of clients come to me with that, and for me, it's also a sign that you have so much energy in your body that your body does not know what to do with it. Right? We have so much power that's not designed to be in that physical body. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. It's interesting because Olivia James, have you heard of Olivia James? She's been on my channel. I've got her books and that. There's a part in her book, I'll edit it in for you guys watching so you can see what I mean. But she's basically talking about, she's receiving information from whoever, whatever's connecting with her, basically saying that one of the ways that they can control Milabs, because you know they affect our physical health, they were saying they can affect like our cardiovascular area. They can
I just got like a stab in my chest when you said cardiovascular. I just got like a needle inserted into my chest feeling.
And what stood out was fibromyalgia was in there, and I was like, so I'm torn. Is it? And what you just said about there's too much energy squashed in this dense body. Well, is that even a word? What's a body? And then I'm like, is it stuck to trauma energy? Is it energy attacks? Or is it all of the above? The thing is, what doesn't make sense to me, yes, I've been through a lot of trauma, as a lot of us have, since a kid.
Yeah.
But I worked through a lot of that. you know, I sat with myself, I cried, you know, feelings healing. I wasn't scared to cry and let it out. I understood on a higher perspective level. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just found peace within that. Yeah, I learned things from that. And so I transmuted and alchemized a lot of that within me. I didn't have pain. I didn't suffer with pain. I didn't really suffer with depression. Considering the amount of trauma I went through. But anyway, and then slowly I started getting these pains. And then all of a sudden it's like every day, boom, you know, chronic pain, fibromyalgia. I got my diagnosis. So I'm thinking that if that's blocked energy, unhealed trauma, which I'm not saying I'm completely healed.
Sorry, I work with the pendulum. I feel like that there's an implant in the body that can put things into overdrive, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to keep you limited, stuck, and in pain. And what better way to do that than to keep you doubled up and in pain all the time? So then you've got no options. You're not going anywhere, right? For me, it was my ankles. So I've got osteoarthritis in my feet and ankles. So when I was talking to Drago Reed about it, he does QHHT. And he basically said that what situation are you in your life where you feel stuck? Like you're in like, quicksand and you can't get out. And that's manifested in the ankles. So your body has a way of trying to tell you things, trying to get your attention to things. There's an element of the body's doing the talking and manifesting. But with us, there's an element of foreign implants in the body that are working against us as well. I do believe that. I had a foot surgery last year, and they put implants, they put tags, chips in my foot. When I was in surgery, they put 2 chips in my foot. I've got x-rays.
Did that with me, with the dentist. Yeah. Okay.
I need to get my x-rays for my mouth because I had 3 wisdom teeth taken out. I was in surgery for 4 hours and they still left in a root here, they said. So I need to get those x-rays and see what's really there. If they'll let me see, I don't know.
But what was I going to say? Oh, what was you saying? Oh, damn it, I forgot now.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's because my mind's like.
So we talk about fibromyalgia in the body.
Yeah, because they say, you know, research, they're saying different things, but at the minute, the common thing that they found is that it's connected to our central nervous system. Now, an empath and envoy, we have sensitive nervous systems, neurodivergence, again, sensitive nervous system. And so there's a connection with those with neurodivergent people, autism, ADHD. There's a majority of them develop fibromyalgia. So there is a connection. Again, it's essential nerve. We're just sensitive beings, right? That's what it boils down to. But most of my pain is in the lower back, which would be the root chakra, right? And I often I feel I am blocked. I'm targeted. I am blocked. You know, again, that mouse in the maze. Opportunities blocked, relationships blocked, so on and forth. So it causes me to be in that root chakra sometimes, you know. But again, it's manipulation because it was never an issue before. It's slightly different to you. You know, you went around the world, you know. And
I thought that was my idea, but I don't think that was my idea. Right? I think they just wanted to transfer me out around the world.
Yeah.
But with the root chakra, that's where your feeling of safety and security. So they're keeping you unstable by targeting the root. They're keeping you unstable by targeting the sacral chakra, which is all about your creativity, your ideas, your mind, your connections to others, and how you communicate. So our ideas form in the sacral, but we ground them through the root so that they can take shape, and then it comes up into the mind and the throat to express. So they're targeting the lower chakras to keep you unstable. They do that with all of us. But because there's so much overflow coming in, they're really targeting the sacral and the root for you.
Because there's been I would love to get on the plane and go on a holiday, but they've implanted these fears within me, like all of a sudden, what do you call it, agoraphobia, a fear of leaving so far from the home. That was never an issue. There's no reason why all of a sudden I'm scared to visit other countries or other cities and towns. Like I even stress sometimes going 10 minutes in a frigging Uber to do my shopping. It's like a switch, it's on and off. Same with the pain. Sometimes if I'm really emotional, or there are triggers sometimes, for instance, the weather. If I'm cold, it triggers the lower back pain. So there are normal, rational reasons for the pain in the body. You know, stress causes pain in the body. But a lot of the time, I'm fine. there's nothing triggered, but then it's like that pain's like boom, bam, it's there, and then it's gone just as quick, you know.
So if this was your cover life and they wanted to keep you in one position so they knew where you were, so you couldn't be causing too much trouble, then the cover life version of you is going to feel this. But the alter version of you, the soldier version, the envoy, or whoever, you're literally the opposite at times. You are. So you don't want to leave the house, but really it's because you're on the other side of the world as an alter of you that's trying to connect in, and you're on the other side of the world. You don't want to get on a plane, but really you're a pilot who flies planes.
I am.
Massive confirmation just came in there. I just got a high frequency, right? So they're trying to make you afraid of the things that's actually your skill set that's programmed in.
You've hit the nail on the head again. I love it. Oh my God. Well, makes sense. So it seems like for you, the implanting thoughts and ideas, all of a sudden you're like craving, or you're drawn to India. Yeah. I think that's one of the places you went to. So, and you go, I've had that as well. All of a sudden, you know, I've had a huge interest out the blue wanting to go to Canada strongly. But
that's a huge SSP stomping ground is Canada. There's more probably Canadian super soldiers, I think, than there are in America.
Really? Well, I didn't know that. Wow.
There's a lot of super soldiers in Canada.
That is so crazy, because I've got a Canadian friend, and I've always said to her, just not too long ago, took an ancestry DNA. I don't recommend people taking them, but I think for my labs, it don't matter. They know who we are anyway. It's not like we're giving anything away. So the only reason why I took it, and I said to her, I says, maybe I've got connections to Canada, and I feel strongly drawn to Russia. I have an experience of seeing and having a conversation with Putin. And he told me he got blood cancer, and then weeks later in the media it came out he got leukemia or blood cancer. This was years ago. So there's always a reason why we're drawn to these countries. But anyway, it turns out on my DNA, you know, I'm not connected to Germany or Canada. I've got Belgium in me strongly, and Switzerland and France and Ireland, Celtic Gaelic, and, you know, like yourself. Interesting. So I took it because I thought maybe I could take something from that, maybe, you know, connect it to memories and why I'm drawn to certain areas, but I'm still strongly drawn to Russia.
Well, that's because it's a Russian space program. Somebody's put in my comments a while back, where are all the Russian super soldiers? And then it's kind of like this process discovering it's all of us. We are the Russian super soldiers. Doesn't matter if we're Australian, American, or UK, we're all the Russian super soldiers. So it was like a big merge of programs. They literally like shared assets all over. So I know I've definitely been a scientist there, and there's plenty of people that do talk about being in the Russian SSP, and they talk about how much nicer they were than the Americans as well, how in Russia they actually took care of you and they didn't torture you and they didn't do awful things like that.
I can believe that. They do look after the people.
Some of us were luckier to be on that side, you know, even just one altar. But we're a mixture of everything. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment, and I will be talking about at the Basis conference in June, about how there's a huge program. It's not one country versus this country, it's one massive program, one huge umbrella program.
It's all interconnected, isn't it?
All interconnected. Massively. So one asset from like Peru could still be in the Russian space program or whatever. It depends on their skill set, and we're transferred around just like pawns, right? We really are.
And that's how they get away. And that's how they get away with the whole secrecy, because they're all involved, you know, to some extent. Certain groups are all involved. It's all interconnected.
It's all interconnected.
Huge operation.
So it's not one versus another. It's all just one big, massive, on-planet operation. I'm literally writing about that right now. So it's an on-planet operation.
Really is. It's huge, isn't it? It's really big. Well, just
have you thought about writing a book?
Well, you know, funny you should say that. I started writing a book 10 years ago, and again I feel like it's them, and I say them, you know, my handlers, those that take me, because or maybe it's a neurodivergent thing, right? Because I'll get hyper focused where I can't even pee. I forget to eat. I'm dehydrated. I can't move. You know that energy. You're stuck in it. You get irritable if people are like, you know, I've just got to, you know. And so I can sit at my desk and write. I'm like this, like my mind's just, you know, going crazy. And before you know it, in a day or 2, 3 days, I've done nearly 30 pages, but then I burn out. And then I'll
Yes.
go long periods of months, years until I get that energy again. And then, but then because I've left it so long, the original, the stuff that I started say months or years ago,
Yeah.
it's not right for me at that time because I've come into new memories. I've made more connections.
Yeah.
Maybe I couldn't. Maybe I messed it up slightly, and so then the amount of times I've
Then you have to
redone my book,
restart it. Yeah.
restart, and I've done it again. I did it finish the last time I worked on my new book, because I deleted the old ones. I've got to like 150 pages again, burnout, whatever you want to call it, left it, and now I'm feeling that energy again that I'm going to get back on it,
Yeah.
but I know I'm going to not be happy with that and delete it, so I never get there.
Because a lot of people use Substack and they just publish small things on Substack, and you start to get things building up, and that keeps the energy fresh. A lot of people use voice notes as well. But I recently did 22 chapters of a book, right? Over 20,000 words or whatever. And then I've stopped and I've moved on to a completely different project, which I may finish because I've got a friend collaborating with me. And that's the only reason I may finish it, and because I've got deadlines of 2 conferences in June. But other than that, last year I was working on 3 Oracle card decks and 3 different books, and they're all in different stages of completion. They're never going to get finished. So I hear you big time, but I'm going to
unless
finish
there's that urgency
soon.
Unless someone's got a gun to my head, you've got 24 hours though, or 2 months. All of a sudden I'll have all the energy then,
you might need to get an editor. An editor will keep you motivated. So there's some people you can reach out to in our community who are invested in the SSP stuff or Milab stuff, and they'll understand it, because it's very niche, the things that we do. It's not for everyone. It's not like a regular publisher to understand, is it?
No. Exactly. Exactly.
But I have a friend who writes books, and he writes 1 sentence a day minimum. As long as he's writing 1 sentence a day, then he will finish the book eventually. And he's on book 5 now.
I tried that once. That didn't work for very long. It didn't last very long.
I forget. I lose focus, and then it's like that never happened, and I'm in a completely different direction again. So I'm just spinning around all the time. You know what? So I've got some friends who don't respond to messages quickly, and I'll look back and see, well, they didn't respond to that message a week ago, and I'll just delete it because it's irrelevant now. It's irrelevant now because we're so rapid.
I'm the same. I'm terrible at forgetting to comment back to people on my channel or reply to friends. They know. I think they know very scatty. I get
I'm on a daily routine, so I do daily early morning lives. So I do a Friday evening live, and then I have 3 evening groups that I do on Zoom for like ladies connection groups. So I stick to that routine, and that's kind of really helped me keep going. So you've got to show up for people at set times. That keeps me going. They show up and I show up, and we witness each other's lives.
Routine. I wish I had it.
I have to crave have routine.
I crave it. I crave it, but I can't implement it. Or I implement it, I mean, it don't last very long. So again, it's just something I struggle. And because I've been like that all my life, and it gets worse with age, I haven't been able to achieve anything.
How old are you now?
I'll be 40 in June.
Oh, okay.
Same day as Donald Trump's birthday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was thinking, because I do have one memory of Max Spears that came in a few months back. We were in an underground base. It was just a long room. It wasn't very well lit. And I remember it was like, when you have that lower ceiling with the ceiling tiles, right? And there was like tables laid out, and we're wearing grey sweats. And it's weapons drills. We're putting together weapons. And he was 2 tables away from me. And I don't remember who else was there, but I know he was there. And he was first. And I think I might have been second or third. But I was so frustrated because he was that. And that's the only memory I've got. Because it doesn't interest me. I think my dad said that we're on parallel programs with him. But I don't have a lot of memories. It's not really something I'm interested in. So
it's annoying. Again, with the memories, it's very rare to get full memory recall. Excuse me.
But he was a similar age to me. I think just a little bit younger than me. So we may have trained at the same time. So that kind of makes sense. I don't know.
That would make sense.
I know my
Well,
memory's very scatty. This has been very good. Thank you.
yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun, and you can always come back on again in the future if you want. We can
I do
share.
on my channel. I do live Q&A, so we take
Hmm.
questions from the audience. A lot of them are super soldiers and Milabs,
Yeah,
but we get very random. Like we ask like ice cream questions and travel questions and whatever. But
yeah,
it really helps to bring people out of their shell, and so we just have a fun time on my channel. And there'll be some
yeah,
super soldier type questions, Milab questions thrown in. But we do a
yeah,
bit of that, so I'd love to have you on for that. That'd be awesome.
yeah. That'd be amazing. Like I'm, I'm very, I'm still learning about, different things because I only realised I was in Milab. How long ago now? Just over 3 years ago, which
Wow, I
seems like
thought it
a
was
long
longer.
time, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
Like, time flies. But, I'm still like learning things, like yourself and stuff. So,
Yeah,
apart from
because
sharing my,
I don't use the Milab term that much because I've got more kind of super soldier memory or science memory.
yeah,
Milab is something I still need to get into, but I feel like there's a lot of active targeting when I start to think about the UK stuff. I think they're the
yeah,
worst. They really are the worst. I can look into
yeah,
America as long as I don't look into Washington DC. I'm fine. As long as I don't look into there's another location as well. I'm not allowed to look into Cuba for some reason. And I
mm,
recently tried to remote view the Bermuda Triangle, and I got a telepathic message saying, "Not here, not now." So I was trying to do that with a
mm,
friend. So I'm okay as
mm,
long as I don't look into certain areas, then I don't get that much
yeah,
targeting. But when I try and look into London, well, we get a lot of targeting on London for sure. I've done videos
mm,
with Sean Bond on it, Psionic League. We get a ton of targeting about London. And even when I started to recall about India, I got attacked on the live. And I got like
mm,
etherically stabbed in the stomach. And I'm saying to Sean, I've just been stabbed. He's like, I know, I'm helping you. He's like
yeah,
super chill. This guy, super chill. So yeah, so there's certain places I can look into and certain places I just can't. So when I think about Milab, when I look into that stuff, that's when I get the most targeting. Yeah, but I
right,
can
okay,
look off world. I can go to Mars, Moon. That's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, but
So
certain things I can't. Yeah.
what term do you use then? I mean, it's like my lab. It doesn't cover everything that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get up to either. I've had secret space program missions as
yeah,
well in Montauk and
yeah.
Monarch and
So I
the
generally just stick with the SSP type,
yeah.
or we use the unacknowledged special access programs. We talk about
Mm,
that, use that wording. But yeah, I kind of go with the super soldier narrative more because it fits a lot of the memories. Because I
yeah.
can link into somebody who remembers me as that as well.
Hmm.
So I'm quite lucky that my trauma twin, my dyad, who's like literally like a brother who got similar DNA, we were literally made from the same DNA. I've
Mm,
been able to contact him and even meet him. He came out to the UK last year, whereas I don't
mm,
think you can meet yours. I've probably got more than one, but I've literally met one, and I felt the energy connection between me and Drago Reed. Is a massive energy connection there. I felt our energies recalibrate and resync together. We
mm,
did a video together in the same place at the same time, and we literally got same mannerisms. We look like brother and sister. It's absolutely insane, right? So we really do,
mm.
yeah. So there really is that connection there.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, right. It's insane. So, but I was really fortunate to meet him in person, which probably might never ever happen again. We're on very
yeah.
separate paths. We've got the same mission of disclosure, but we do it very different ways. Because he's been on his path publicly for like 10 years, whereas I'm
Mm,
right at the start of my journey. So it's a very different perspective on certain things. Yeah. So
mm.
I'm not really sure how to call myself. I guess experiencer. Experiencer is a good term. I use the
Yeah,
experiencer term a lot.
experience. Yeah, I use that sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
experience. And I
yeah,
always say that. Well, yeah, most of the time I always say that what is it? I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor again because it's
yeah.
more
That
empowering. Yeah,
survivor
energy
thing, I,
work.
I feel uncomfortable saying survivor. I'm still
Yeah.
working on it. When I was at the Bases conference, this is from the Bases last year. We've got the new one coming up in June. People came up to me and they literally thanked me for my service in the space programs. And I was like,
Oh,
whoa, okay, this is. And one person said to me, thank you for being taken so that I didn't have to go.
oh wow.
Whoa. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it wasn't a choice. I didn't choose to,
Yeah.
you know. But that was really
Wow.
bizarre. Yeah, because we
Oh.
wouldn't choose this. I mean, there's an element of us that probably did sign a
Mm,
contract knowingly or unknowingly, but Julia didn't choose that. Anchor Haven may have, but not Julia, right? Not
yeah.
the cover life, not me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
We're all figuring it out, you know. I'm like, did I choose it? I guess some part of me did, right?
Yeah.
On a soul level. The inside job is what has always stuck strong with me.
Inside job.
I know I'm a double agent, so
Yeah.
I often try and sabotage when I'm on the negative. You know, when they're
Yeah.
sending me out, I often sabotage and things like that.
That's
And I
cool.
get punished for that sometimes. I get caught. I'm not like what you see in the movies, and I'm not that smooth. You know, I've been in trouble a few times.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, they still use me.
We're still alive.
We're still
We're
alive,
still
yeah.
alive for a
I,
reason, for a very good reason. Yeah.
it,
So
it's
empowered people, that's why. Yeah.
yeah, I do. I just feel like I'm in a dream sometimes, you know. I just have to pinch myself. I don't know why my ego has such a hard time compared to a lot of my labs. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but like I gas myself like ridiculously, like
Yeah. See, I think of I work with ego as a defensive force. So I don't think of ego as in like, oh, look at me, whatever. I think of
yeah,
ego as my protective force. That's how
yeah,
I think of ego. That there's a version of me that is trying to counteract whatever's going on. There's a version of me that's stepping in and being the size of the galaxy to fight off predators. Because we get a lot of predators, massive predators on the planet. We do. And
yeah.
we can't see them. We don't realize, but they're there. They are there,
Mm.
and your
Oh
ego's
yeah,
actively fighting them off for you. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, I do admire I do have a strong ego. Again, not in like, oh, look at me. You know, I don't put myself on a pedestal.
Well, you're still alive because of the ego, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's a survival built,
Exactly.
you know, for us, isn't it?
And there's an
Absolutely.
element of the work that we do where we need to be in that masculine energy because we need to talk about it, right? We need to put ourselves out there because a couple of years ago, I would never have been on camera. I would never have spoken about anything like this. Then I had a session
Mm,
with somebody and they channeled a guide called Morris, who's like this old gentleman guide. And he said to me, I see you in a room that looks like a United Nations of planets. You're talking about disclosure. You're some kind of
mm,
ambassador. And I was like,
mm.
what are you talking about? What does that even mean? Right? I could
Yeah,
not fathom the work that we do now. Yeah. The
yeah,
information that we put out there, the tones in our voice that are activating. So when people listen to this back, they're going to get the chills. They're going to feel things. They're going to get the
yeah,
aha moments of certain things we say. Yeah, so we have to be in the masculine energy. So it's not so much ego as in it's stepping into that masculine strength.
mm,
And there's a part of you that's thinking you can't be like that all the time.
yeah,
Yeah, right. But you are
yeah,
because you're that warrior. You're that alpha soldier. You just don't
yeah,
remember fully that you were the one commanding a squad. You were the one with your own team,
yeah.
right?
I have memories, and I've always, before even those memories, I've naturally played that role. Not say played, you know, it's just naturally I've played that
Yeah,
role. The protector, right, of my siblings, protector of those that are being bullied, trying to take out a grown ass man who's attacking two women in a nightclub, and I'm this little, you know,
yeah,
21-year-old, and something switches, and it's not just my autism, like I feel it within me as well. I've always got that that protector energy, or
yeah,
and I always seem to be in the right place at the right time. The amount of children I've saved from dying, and I don't mean that in like ego, you know,
no, because
example.
this is the guardian in you that's coming through. That's what you've been trained to do. That's who you are in your DNA. That's your Lyran self, your positive
The
Orion self. Yeah,
warrior,
the
yeah.
warrior. Yeah, so that's really
Well,
positive.
double whammy, Orion and Lyran, Orion,
Yeah,
yeah, double whammy,
yeah.
yeah.
So
It,
the Lyran is really strong. The Lyran has kept me alive. That Lyran DNA has literally kept me alive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's just insane. You know, you just, these things play out in your life. And then because of that, I've like, it's saving people from choking to death. you know, pull not only my own son literally seconds out of the road before a car speeding took him out, my cousin as well on holiday, you know. Again, it's like I'm not always, you know, hyper tuned in. It's just something comes over me. I look, you know, my cousin's literally stepping in the road and the car misses her by that. I pull her, yank her back.
Yeah.
And I can imagine my uncle was very upset. I don't know why he was angry at me. I think it was like, you should have, you know, paid attention. But I'm like, I frigging saved her. The speed of that car were coming. Car accidents. You know, I walk out and I don't have a scratch on me, yet the driver's got whiplash and cuts. And, you know, again, with my siblings, it's like I preconceived it. It was like I knew we were going to get in an accident. Seconds before a car hits us, and it's like I remember just pulling both my siblings under my arms, and took most of the impact, but I come out unscathed. Yeah, it's just things like that.
Yeah,
you know, again, heavily around children, which is interesting because a lot of my memories, I'm going in the dumbs. I'm saving children, not because I'm the hero. You know, some people take the piss. You know, oh, hero complex. You know, it isn't. It's just very protective, you know.
So
and
I'm probably on the opposite side of those things. With some of my alters, I think I'm probably doing the worst stuff. And you're
that
the
as
one doing
well,
the positive
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So
I ain't
it's like I
done
don't.
yet. Yeah.
I've got memories of kind of because I was bonded with another soldier, so I've got memories of seeing through his eyes, seeing him running, whereas I'm tactical on a ship, right? So I can see telemetry feeding through both of our eyes, so he can see what I see at times and vice versa. He's confirmed that as well. So we've got that sync is there, and through the neural link and everything, but there's a telepathic. So I've had some weird things come in. I really have. I try and focus more on the clone connections last year. I really did, because they were the ones that were easiest for me to like open a map in my mind and see places where they were and stuff. So I'm still trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. It doesn't make sense. It's not linear. It's not one timeline. It's different pockets of existence all at the same time. So I did have a video done with the ACIO where they're supposed to pull your military records, and they pull a very deep Akashic record. And I said, well, what's my birth certificate say? And they said, oh, you were born in 1920. And I'm like, okay, really? Well, you were in Project Paperclip as a young scientist. What?
Well, that's interesting. What year was World War II?
Well, we're looking at like 1944. There was war stuff going on, and I was born in 1920 in one context of existence. But then I was supposed to be in Sedona, Arizona, on Project Paperclip in the 1950s as a teenage scientist, right? So there's all this weird information coming at me, and I'm trying to discern, okay, what makes sense? What feels like there's a connection to that information? What can I verify? What do I actually remember? So I've just been sifting through things of like, okay, put that on the back burner for now, because this is what I remember from what they've said, and a memories come forward. So sometimes it's like an activation, like that master of observers. When that phrase was spoken, that literally activated me like a winter soldier, and I got memories coming forward. And I did try and have a QHHT session a couple of years ago with a friend, but we couldn't get anywhere because he did not have the right things to say. My mind just compartmentalized. There was no way he could get past the first 10-15 minutes. Just didn't work, because we don't work that way. Our minds are fractured.
We need to find someone who works specifically with Milab.
In this country, I'm not sure who they are, but I know who they are in America. There's quite a few people in America. But this country, I'm not too sure. But so our minds are not the same, and it is an ego. It's fact. A lot of it is just fact. If that's the role that you had in that body, that was your soul operating that body, right? So it's still you, but it's just a different aspect of you.
Exactly. You mentioned Project Paperclip. I don't know if this is connected again. I'm still learning these things. So I believe I was in the programs, because obviously, there's so many clones of us, but I have memories of being a World War II male soldier. And I was on a cargo ship in Europe, traveling to America. Anyway, long story short, they were ships attacking us. and our ship basically slowly sunk, and we drowned to death. So I believe they've been using me even then, you know.
That could have been like a future mission when you went back in time. So that could have been a Project
Yeah,
Phoenix or a Looking Glass or
yeah,
whatever. You went back in time for some particular reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a
And
point
then
there.
when that altar died, you rehomed the soul essence and memories.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's when that's right. Because when memories come up like that, it's like you say, it's because we're
It could be that whatever that was is ended now, and that's
yeah,
rehomed back to you. I
that's
don't know.
yeah, yeah.
We did a lot of time missions. We did. And
That's
that's
the
why we
thing.
need to focus on the time missions and not the torture. Right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? Because
Not that I'm trying to say the torture and those memories and all that is not important. It is.
yeah,
It's important to heal that within the body. I'm a holistic therapist, of course, so I'm going to say it's all
yeah,
shadow work. But I think some
yeah.
people get too focused on just the bad stuff, and they want that project to just be about the bad stuff and not about
Well,
the stuff
do
that
you
we
think
actually
that's
achieved.
Do you think that's deliberate? You know, why we always seem to get a lot of those
Possible.
traumatic memories?
Yeah, possible.
Because
For
trauma
me,
blocks us, right?
I got scientist memories first, and I think that's because my body and my mind felt safer bringing forward science memories first, because I was
Oh,
in a safe lab environment and that kind of thing. So they're the memories that came forward first.
mm,
Yeah. The soldier stuff came after, once I'd reconnected with that energy signature of the person I was bonded to. Then those memories began to flood in, and he was
mm,
able to place me in all of his memories. Like, he couldn't see my face before, but once we'd made that initial connection, then I placed in his memories properly.
yeah,
But he knew my energetic signature was me. And he's on the other side of the world, and we'd basically been separated from birth, brought back together for training, brought back together for missions, and then we went off to separate missions. So it's still been like 30 years linear time since we'd actually
mm,
connected with each other. But I know that there's like that 15-year-old version of me who's out of time. She's actively working on that mission now
yeah,
in her future, which is my present here and now.
yeah.
So it's a mind job. It really is.
Yeah, it's so true because I have memories of visiting other versions of myself, younger versions in the past, in the future as well. We do that.
That's really uncomfortable. There's a memory that Draco and I share, and we're both in a lab, but we're the
Yeah,
subject and the scientist, and we're all
yeah,
different ages. Yeah.
mm,
So yeah, not good. Because
no,
it's the time anomaly thing. Your soul is occupying the same space in time. That's very uncomfortable. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It really
Yeah.
is. Like you can't be there for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So,
Okay.
shall we wrap this up?
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No, thank you for coming on. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I really
Well,
enjoyed it. I'm sure it's going to enlighten a lot of people, perhaps trigger memories, like you say, our vocal cords, our voices, the energy. Because I'm on board with you with all that. You know, we can trigger people. It can, heal
yeah.
people, bring things up, and things like that. And perhaps what you've shared, what I've shared may help validate other people's memories or experiences, because I know that that's what happens a lot, right? And this is the whole point and purpose
Yeah.
of our channels, to help ourselves as well, and help each other,
Yeah.
and it's a good place to document things and stuff like that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, well, you did, whenever you see it. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you want, leave a nice friendly comment. And if you yourself want to come on either one of our channels to share your memories or experiences, then yeah, reach out. There will be my email in the description, or my link to my other social media channels. And again, I'll leave Julia's all her information and services and things like that, a channel also again in the description if anyone wants to reach out to her. But anyway, guys, we're going to love you all and leave you all, and I'll speak to you all in a new upload. Take care, guys.